Chris Egan is joining us now. And Chris, the Bucks started a movement unlike something that we've never seen before, really.
Yeah, Jessica, the dominoes started falling right after the Bucks announcement. The Milwaukee Brewers called their game against the Reds, and then the Seattle Mariners called a players-only meeting. The players voted unanimously to not play tonight against the Padres. Kyle Seager, Shed Long, and Marco Gonzalez met with a few of the Padres and told them about the vote, canceling tonight's game. The Mariners tweeted out the team's support of the players. D. Gordon sent out his own message on Twitter. There are serious issues in this country. For me and for many of my teammates, the injustices, violence, death, and systematic racism is deeply personal. Instead of watching us, we hope people will focus on the things more important than sports that are happening. Major League Soccer canceled 5 of their 6 games tonight, including the Sounders. The team had a meeting and decided they preferred not to play tonight either. Players posted this picture on social media for their support of the movement. In a statement from the Sounders, Coach Brian Schmetzer said, "It saddens me that some people seem to not understand the importance of this movement. The violence that we are witnessing across our nation needs to be addressed. And tonight, I am proud of the players for taking a stand and using their voices." Just about an hour ago, the Mariners announced that the team will now play a doubleheader tomorrow, 7-inning games. The first game will start at 12 o'clock. Live tonight from Puyallup, I'm Chris Egan, King 5 Sports.